everyone, I'm Jyoti, and today I'll be giving a seminar on serverless computing, a modern way of running codes without having to manage the servers. This concept is changing the way developers build and run apps, and by the end of this session, you will see how powerful and useful it is, even for a person who's from a non-tech background. So let's get started and understand what serverless computing really means. What exactly is serverless computing? Imagine you post a story on Instagram. You just upload whatever you want and it appears to your followers, right? You don't know where it is stored and which server exactly delivers it. Instagram handles all of that behind the scenes. Similarly, in serverless computing, the developers write the logic of the application, and cloud providers handle all the servers, scaling, and delivery automatically. These are handled by big companies such as Amazon, Google Cloud, etc. So, serverless doesn't mean there are no servers, it just means you don't have to manage them. Before diving into serverless computing, let's understand the evolution of the infrastructure, how we arrived here. In the past, building an app meant buying a machine, setting it up, and checking constantly if everything was working. We started off with physical servers, huge and expensive machines running in the basement of companies. Then came the virtual machines, which let us run multiple apps on one single server. Then came containers like Docker that gave us lightweight portable units of code. Finally, serverless emerged. It is a code that runs in response to events with no infrastructure to manage. This shift is more like moving from owning a car to using Uber. You don't pay for stuff like parking, gas, or insurance. You just pay for the ride. Next up, we have the key features of serverless computing. Here's what makes serverless different from the others. First up, it's event-driven, meaning code runs only when triggered. For example, when you upload a file or a user logs in. Second, it's stateless. Every execution is independent. It doesn't remember the user or the previous run unless externally stored. Third, it's auto-scaling. Whether one user or 1 million, the system scales automatically. Fourth, it's micro-billing, which means you're charged only when your code runs, not for idle time. Fifth, no infrastructure management. Cloud providers handle updates, security, and uptime. So basically, it's efficient, affordable, and scalable, ideal for startups and solo developers. Now that we got to know the key features of serverless computing, it's time we get to know the types of serverless models. There are two main serverless models. First one, function as a service. It's basically when you write a small piece of logic called function. They run when triggered. For example, a function that sends an OTP email when users sign up. Second, Backend-as-a-Service. You use pre-built cloud services like authentication, file storage, and databases. For example, Firebase handles your user logins, no need to build from scratch. Together, FaaS and BaaS allow you to build complete apps with minimal backend code. Next up, we have the advantages of serverless computing. Let's talk about why serverless is loved so much. Firstly, because it's cost effective. Pay only for what you use, no idle server charges. Next up, easy to deploy. Just upload code and it's live, no OS or no hardware setup. Next, it's because it is scalable. Auto scales based on demand without your intervention. Next, it's improved focus. Developers spend more time writing features, not managing infrastructures. Next, it's because faster time to market, perfect for MVPs, startups, and hackathons. And last, resilience. Fault tolerance and redundancy are built in by cloud providers. It's like renting a super efficient assistant who appears only when needed and charges by the second. That we got to know about the advantages of serverless computing. It's important to know the disadvantages as well. because let's be real, serverless isn't perfect after all. Firstly, cold starts. If a function hasn't been used for a while, it takes a second or two to start up again. Second, limited runtime. Functions may be restricted to run for only few minutes. Harder to debug. Since everything is on demand and event driven, tracking bugs can be tricky. Fourth, vendor lock-in. Moving from one cloud provider to another is not easy. Each has its own syntax and services. Fifth and the last, less control. You can't choose your OS or fine-tune the runtime environment. So while the serverless is powerful, it's not suitable for every project. Where serverless is actually used in real time. First up, it's Netflix. Uses AWS Lambda to process and encode videos as they are uploaded. Second, it's Uber. Sends real-time push notifications to users based on ride updates. Third, Slack. Manages custom integrations via event-driven functions. And fourth, Airbnb. Uses serverless to enhance search and optimize pricing models. These companies chose serverless to scale fast, cut costs, and deliver features faster. See what are the use cases for serverless. Here's where you might actually use serverless computing. Number one, web apps, for example, a photo upload feature that automatically resizes and stores image. Second, IoT devices, a smart bulb that turns on if motion is detected, triggering a cloud function. Third, data processing. When a large CSV file is uploaded, triggers a function to clean and store it. Fourth, chatbots or APIs automatically responds to messages or serve user data. So basically, serverless is equal to no idle cost plus instant reaction. That is equal to a win-win situation. Future of serverless computing. Let's see what's next in line for serverless. Firstly, AI integration. Imagine AI models running as functions when triggered by user data. Next, edge computing. Bringing serverless to the edge means your code runs even closer to the user, faster response, lower latency. Hybrid architectures. Combining serverless with containers and microservices for flexibility. The future is bright, and serverless is at the core of it. Lastly, to wrap it all up, serverless computing is all about freedom. Freedom from server management, freedom from constantly scaling issues, freedom to just build great applications. But remember, it's not a one size fits all. Understand the pros and cons and use it where it shines. Thank you for sticking around till the end. If this helped you in any way, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Comment below about what you'd be building with serverless computing. Thank you all.